What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we've got a big video in store for you, and it's something that's been asked for a little while recently, and it's KSigKid going to the Lighthouse. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. So I kind of actually teased that I went to the Lighthouse in yesterday's video. I like to put in little Easter eggs and secrets sometimes in my videos, and I don't ever call attention to them just to see if anybody picks up on it. I also tweeted it out whenever it happened, so if you were following me on Twitter, you already know that I went to the Lighthouse over the weekend. But for those of you that don't have Twitter or didn't see it, here is your first action. And what we're going to do is pretty much walk through the card and talk about everything that kind of happened in the matches in general. So here we are on match number 1, the most important one where all the boons count. You get 1 win on this match and you're already at +3. And you only need to get 9 in order to get to the Lighthouse. So this is pretty much my first extended action in the Trials of Osiris since before the April update. I haven't even been in Trials at all since the April update dropped, so it was definitely a feeling out period, and Trials is not exactly my best game mode, not by far. But we managed to get through this first match, 5-1 victory, so that's pretty solid. Like I said, we come away with 3 wins just from that first one, and that gets us off to a pretty good start. Now, to be completely honest, we actually had 2 8-0 cards before this one. 2 8-0 cards, and it went downhill. So, we've got a long way to go before I feel secure in us actually going to the Lighthouse. Match number 1 is in the books, and now to get to win number 4, we've got to go through another team, and we're starting this one off on the first match of this one, and it's because Gaz and Wills, my 2 teammates who are actually clan members, they did a really good job of pretty much picking up and killing the enemies on this team. I had a really tough time in getting in and actually finding enemies to kill pretty much this entire match. Now, of course, I did get sniped a lot. Somehow I always find myself in just the tiniest open sliver where there's a sniper that can get a bullet through there. And just as I peeked out, the guy was looking down the line, got me, he was hard scoping down that corridor, he got me, but I'm up and I am able to get a little bit of revenge. I get that round. And at least we're able to stake ourselves to a little bit of a lead, because that's kind of a theme that ends up running through this card, us not getting out to a fast start. So getting a lead, starting off strong, that's pretty key, considering that you only need to get to 5 wins in order to actually win a match in the elimination game mode. So 5-2, we took this team down, and 4 wins on the card, so not too bad. As for me, I didn't really have a great round that time. I went 3-5. But I did end up getting myself a little bit of gear, so a 305 bond. I have a bunch of these bonds already, so I really didn't need it, but it's always nice to get loot. Now, as far as talking about really not starting off strong, against this team, we started in a 0-2 hole. Here we are in 4-2 in the lead. I ended up baiting out that Titan Slam, which we knew was coming. I knew that if I happened to go in close with my Stormcaller Stormtrance, I was going to get absolutely blasted by the Slam. But it ended up getting baited out, and I was able to get a double down with the Stormtrance. Right now I'm trying to figure out where exactly that guy was, but he was hiding under this corridor, and as I kind of figure out where he is and run in, Wills already takes him down. So we're able to get away despite starting in a 0-2 hole. We ended up pulling out 5 wins straight, so that's pretty solid. We feel pretty good about that comeback. It is definitely not ideal to go down 0-2 in a Trials of Osiris match. You are in for a bad time if you do that a lot. But we ended up getting the 5 straight wins, and this actually wasn't a bad match for me. Considering in my very first round, I ended up getting 2 of those 3 deaths. I came away pretty good in the end of that. And speaking about getting down into a hole, we were in a 0-3 hole to start this match. 0-3. And we ended up really clutching out that heavy round, and that pretty much was the catalyst for the remainder of the match. Right here is a huge turning point to this round. Golden Gun's out, but he's extremely low on health, and I'm able to pick him off with the Grasp of Malik. As this guy rushes in, I pop my Stormtrance, knowing that I'm in a bad situation, and the Stormtrance very well might save my life, which it did. I then rush in, and I'm able to get down this second enemy right here, and I stop and pause just to revive Wills. So we have a big time numbers advantage right now, though we did lose Gaz to a Titan Slam. And as the Plan C is coming out, I'm able to hop up, get a shotgun and a melee down, Merciless 5 killing streak. Let's go. We're tying it up at 3-3. So again, we were down in a 0-3 hole. We pulled that round out, and we pulled out the next 2 rounds. 5-3 victory. Those guys left the game. I can understand. That's probably extremely frustrating to be up 3-0 and then lose the next 5 matches. We have definitely all been there, so I can definitely understand the frustration, but we're at 6 wins right now. And at 6 wins, that's where this card kind of takes a turn for the really, really interesting. So we're definitely going to set up this story a little bit. This match, we started off 2-0. They were pretty much camping in their spawn point, which is why we ran all the way around to their spawn, because we thought they were just going to be hiding behind the dome. They weren't. They actually pushed in towards their heavy, and I ended up getting sniped in the exact same place. I clearly did not learn my lesson. But watch right here. We get a facepalm, and that facepalm kind of triggered the rest of our team. So I said, you know what, guys? Go ham, go all out. You can feel free to taunt the crap out of that guy after we win. I was like, you cannot do any teabagging or anything like that until after we win. And you've got to understand that Gaz and Wills are really wild cards. I've been trying to rein them in the entire time. I don't know what in the world language they're speaking. You know I love you guys. I don't know what in the world language they're speaking most of the time. There is definitely a difficulty of understanding them. But I reined them in, and here we are. And the last guy that went down happened to be the one that was doing the facepalm. Again, don't taunt, don't facepalm, don't do that stuff. You know it's only going to come back and bite you in the butt more often than not. But we get our 7th win, and it's not over yet. When we're in the matchmaking, we get matched up with the exact same team again. So after that teabagging finish, they roared off and they beat us down in the first match. And I was like, guys, we can't lose to this team that you guys just went absolutely ham on at the end. We can't lose. We've got to make sure that we come back, because otherwise we're going to be all over you too. For teabagging and then getting beaten down in the karma. So after our first loss, we ended up pulling out the 2nd victory, and here we are on the 3rd round. We end up getting one person down here in the middle control room, but we're grouped up together. We get the revive, and as I back off, I can see that there's a Titan coming in there. I'm able to get a little bit of a grasp and a melee there. They're down, we take that round, and from then on out, we're able to cruise on through victory. And just to show you, these guys did absolutely nothing this entire match as far as taunting or anything. That was the final enemy, that was the facepalmer. I ended up shocking him. I told Gaz and Wills, I was like, you know what? Don't do any teabagging on these guys this time. They did absolutely nothing to warrant that this round. You know, it was a really crappy situation for them to get rematched up against us. And, you know, it was like one of those things, you did something silly one, you learned your lesson, and bygones be bygones and all that kind of stuff. Also, kudos to these guys. Obviously, there was no hate mail or anything like that between anybody. It's really a shame to get matched up 2 times against the same opponent. But karma wasn't done, because we're on our 8-0 match, and we did teabag somebody, and we got our butts absolutely destroyed, dominated, turned inside out. This warlock that's coming down, I don't know if you happen to follow ELO or anything, I don't, but that guy has a 2563 ELO, which is really ridiculously good. They beat the utter snot out of us in our 8-0 match, absolutely dominating. We all got a whopping 1 kill, and you saw my only kill, which was on that Blade Dancer at the end. We got our insta karma justice beat down, humiliated, defeated, dominated, and destroyed. Those guys kicked our butts from here to Sunday. But thankfully, we had the mercy boon, and that means that all is not lost. So, despite having that 1 loss, it's invisible. It doesn't count. So we're going to play like it didn't happen. And here we are on 3-0 heavy round of our actual final last chance at the Lighthouse on this card, and it's the heavy round. The heavy round, which is pretty much the make or break round. You get this victory, you're sitting at 4-0, and you pretty much put the nail in the coffin on the enemy team. It pretty much breaks their spirits. There's really not much they can do whenever they're in a 0-4 hole. I end up pulling out the truth. I sacrifice myself to make sure that rocket hits and that enemy goes down. A rocket flies over top of my head. I pull out the grasp and I'm able to get that guy. As this Titan comes rushing in, I'm able to get him down with the grasp of Malik. There we go. There's that 4-0 lead that I'm talking about. And that means one more win and we get it. Right here, I'm dead, but you can see we end up taking him down with the Mida. That's it. That's the victory. 5-0 on our Lighthouse match. Ultimate victory. I am so excited because I don't do Trials of Osiris very much, and I definitely don't go to the Lighthouse that often because I don't play the card enough. But here we go. I can finally go to the Lighthouse, but before we do that, before we get to the Lighthouse, let's open up our various Brother Vance packages, see if we happen to get anything good. Turning in these early bounties, we just get some passage coins, some motes of light, a strange coin, some legendary marks. For my silver packages, I never get anything. I never get anything good, and for my gold package, it looks like I got nothing, but that's just because I'm all filled up, and I actually grabbed an inward lamp. So I have a bunch of these. I have a bunch of inward lamps. This isn't really exactly what I was looking for or excited for, but what we have to see now is our Lighthouse introduction. So as I'm waiting to go and watch that introduction, Gaz is like, go ahead and skip it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Like, this is like, I don't even think I've made it to the Lighthouse double-digit times. Of course I'm going to watch that introduction. Calm down. We'll get there. So we watch the introduction. We make the long trek over to the big golden chest in the middle, and it's awesome. It looks just as good as it looked in Season 1 and Season 2. Opening it up, I get the Bastet's Dream, the emblem. So there it is. I now have the emblem for all 3 seasons of the Trials of Osiris. I'm ready to go. I really don't need to do it anymore. I don't need to get my head beaten in anymore by sniper rifles. Of course you have to put this on, though I wouldn't exactly run around in all of my games with it on, because if you do that, if you run into the tower with the flawless emblem on, you're going to get a lot of messages in the tower. I got the bond, the prized bond. It's all blue. It's a blue sun. Looks pretty sharp. Gonna put that thing on. And let's check out our reflection sum, our adept version. It has hidden hand, which is pretty much the only perk that would be different from any of the others. And of course, since it's adept, it will have last resort as an intrinsic perk on the weapon. So that was our Lighthouse run. Finally, first time I made a serious run since the April update dropped. Glad we ended up getting it out after 2 8-0 cards, 2 heartbreaks. We pulled it out. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your Trials of Osiris, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Karma's a bitch.